Big one at home coming up. Your thoughts going into that one, facing a pretty balanced team?
Yes, obviously, Wichita State being a top 25 team and coming off 2 tough losses, but they're still very, very talented, very deep. Good mix of some older guys and some new guys. In Stevenson and Burton, probably the 2 leading candidates for most improved player of the year in our league. Both of them have had great sophomore seasons for them. Got to do a great job defensively on them. They can score inside, score outside. It's going to be a physical battle, like it was the last 2 times that we've played them and like a lot of games in this league.
Coming off a good defensive performance a couple days ago, just your thoughts on the way the defense keeps playing?
Yeah, we have to continue to get better on the defensive end because I don't think we're unique in this. You see it across the country in college basketball now. Have teams gone through lulls offensively, trouble scoring. So your defense has to hold you in there. And I thought our defense did a good job. We got to rebound a little bit better, too many offensive rebounds. But for the most part, when we defend well and rebound well, it makes our offense so much better because now we're able to get out and run and score in the open court where many times we're at our best.
One guy that seems to be making strides this year, Michael Durr. Your thoughts on his progression?
Yeah, like I said earlier in the year, so many times he played well and the stat sheet maybe didn't show all the things that he did well. But he's scoring more points in league play. He's rebounding the ball better in league play. And obviously now, because of our situation, we constantly have to put him on the best big guy on the other team. Last year, a lot of times, it was Alexis who guarded their best big man. Now Mike has to do it, which as a sophomore is a challenge, especially if that big guy is not truly just a low post player. Can step out and play on the perimeter, put the ball on the floor. It's a challenge for a 7-foot sophomore to do that. But he has definitely risen to that challenge on multiple times. And he's getting better and getting a little more confident now. I thought in the second half in our last game, being able to get the ball into him settled us down a little bit. And I think that's an area that we need to keep exploiting.
Coach, it's still early, but you guys have lost 3 in a row here. How would you describe the desperation level or lack thereof on this team?
Well, I don't think it's a desperation level for us. I think it's a disappointment because those 3 games, one was by 3 points, one was by 4 points, one was by 1 point. So we got to find a way to make some more winning plays in those last 8 minutes of the game. And then those first 32, we got to stay really disciplined to our game plan and what we're trying to get done. You get to a point where you got to just keep, knocking at the door, and then sometimes you got to try to figure out a way to maybe kick it in. And I think our guys understand that there's a lot of basketball left to be played. If we continue to keep improving and tighten up one thing here, one thing there, everybody tighten up. It's just something specific, it can make a big impact on the team.
And you briefly touched on this with that last answer, but you guys have had the lead heading into the second half, the last 2 losses. What is not happening down the stretch to try and close out games?
Well, it's one thing I always say, you are playing against somebody else, so sometimes you can do something really well and the other team just does it a little better. Good offense beats good defense, or good defense beats good offense. You got to make some shots when they present themselves to you. And you got to figure out a way to get, a couple key defensive stops in that. You're up 5, and the one thing you got to make sure you don't give up a 3. We gave up a 3, and then it was no one's fault. We just didn't cover it as well as we needed to cover it. And so, with our guys, you just got to make sure that they're keeping their heads up and understanding that they say in football, it's the same in basketball. There's 4 or 5 plays that a lot of times in close games determine wins and losses. The problem is you don't know which 4 or 5 those are until after the game. So you got to play every possession like it's like that. And again, going through it, as I said, the best way out is to go through it. And we're going through it right now. So you got to just stick together and keep getting better.
Coach, 2 really good defensive teams going to match up here Tuesday night. Could we have another rock fight?
Yeah, it will be a rock fight. It will be. and I use that term, and it's not a pun in terms of the shots that are taken at the basket either. It's, you know, the two really physical defensive teams, like you saw the other night. So possessions and quality possessions are at a premium when it comes to your offense. You know, when you have open shots, you got to be confident and rise up and shoot them with the confidence that you have to have. When you get shots at the rim in transition, offensive rebound or around the basket on a drive, you got to finish those plays because you just don't get that many of them when you're facing the level of competition, not only that we'll face tomorrow night, but throughout the rest of the season within our league.
Saw the video that you tweeted of Lex shooting free throws.
Yeah.
It's good to see. Can you talk about how he's progressing?
Yeah, he's ahead of schedule, which we thought he would be, just because knowing him as a young man. He's getting stronger, able to shoot those stationary shots right now, getting some knee flexion and being able to bend, and now because you're able to do that, you're able to do much more. He's lifting 4 times a week with the upper body, so he's putting on some good strength and weight that way. And he's just, he's got a great attitude. It's hard. There's no doubt about it. It's difficult. And then when you see the closeness we are in those games, you just know what he's thinking. You just know what he's thinking. And that's wears on him. And what, our job with him is to keep him positive, keep him feeling good about his progress, and get him ready for when he's 100% and can come back to get back on the court and become the player and maybe even a better player than we thought.
What is it about the Yuengling Center that makes you guys such a better home team than on the road?
Well, I mean, I think we've had a great atmosphere in the games this year. Our crowds are up, a great atmosphere in the 2 league games for sure. And we wanted to, one of the things that we said is a mark of a program of excellence is to have a great home court advantage and build that excitement. And I think we're in the process. We may not be there yet, but we definitely have made huge steps in a short 2.5-year span.
Where are you at 48 hours after the dust has settled from the call against UCF?
You guys know me well enough. It's, I think I've gotten 5 technicals in my career. Have never publicly said anything. So now it's in the rearview mirror. I said my piece. I said, you got to stick up for our guys. That's something that our guys know, that we got their back. But we got to move on. You have to move on. Life isn't fair. No one ever said it was going to be. No one ever said it was going to be easy. In fact, they tell you it's not fair, and you got to fight through it. And the thing we always talk about is the thing we can control, and the only thing you can control is your response to situations and the circumstances and events. And we need to have a great response. And I think our guys know that. I think our guys live by that. And so now as I always say, you can't talk about it. You can't just have a slogan on the wall. You got to live by it. And now we have to go out there and live by it.